The elevator motor ground away, and before they found themselves once again on C-Deck. The door opened, and they stepped off.
Huh?
They'd expected to find 4 other people waiting for them. There were none.
No one's here.
Where did they go?
I have no idea.
Lotus shrugged. Something in the pit of Junpei's stomach stirred. He tried to forget the feeling and took off down the long hallway before him.
Junpei!
We should follow him.
Seven and Lotus followed at a run. They ran and ran and ran. The hallway seemed endless.
I know where we need to go.
I have a deep sense of unease.
The door behind the central staircase. There was a sun symbol on the keyhole of that door. And I happen to have the sun key in my pocket right now. This should open that door.
That was why they ran for the central staircase. They had run for quite some time when they arrived at the door that ended the hallway. Junpei stopped.
All right, time to open this.
He laid his hand on the doorknob, his breathing heavy. Seven laid a hand on his arm.
Hold on a sec there.
Huh?
We don't have the key for this one yet, right?
This is the Jupiter symbol engraved over the keyhole.
That's...
Oh, it's the Jupiter symbol.
Seven was right. They had no Jupiter key. Yeah, if we were trying to open the sun door, why did we go here?
We can't open this door.
Unfortunately, no, we can't.
Jeez, the sun door's gotta be just on the other side of this, you know? We can't just stop...
Frustrated, he twisted the doorknob. The door opened.
Hey, it opened.
Well, that's weird.
What?
And the others must have found the Jupiter key.
Well, what are we waiting for?
As he spoke, he shoved the door the rest of the way open. They rushed through and stopped cold.
What?
The terrible scene before them made their blood run cold. Oh, okay. 3 people lay dead on the floor, covered in blood. Oh, God. Whoa, who's missing? June? 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 She did this? What?
Why?
Junpei felt a cold sweat trickle down his spine. He couldn't breathe. His legs shook. His body felt cold, deathly cold. But his blood was boiling hot. He could feel his mind beginning to fade. He couldn't think. He couldn't concentrate. His mind was blank.
What the hell? What the hell happened?
Seven's voice was weak and broken. He edged toward the bodies, his movements stiff.
Clover.
He bent down over Clover and pressed his fingers to her wrist.
Nothing. She's dead.
Suddenly, Lotus moved. Before he understood what had happened, her hand was in Junpei's vest pocket.
Hey, what are you doing?
He leapt back. Lotus looked up at him, terrified.
The key! Get me the sun key!
Why?
Why do you think? We have to get out of here before the murderer comes back!
The murderer?
Kinda! The murderer. The murderer. Once again, Junpei looked at the dead bodies.
Santa, Clover, and Ace. 3 people, 3 dead bodies. That means that the person who had killed them was...
That seems to be the case.
No, it can't be true.
I don't have any idea why.
Give it to me!
Before Junpei could react, Lotus dove back into his pocket and came out with the key.
Let's go!
Without waiting for Seven or Junpei, they ran straight for the central staircase. They followed. Junpei shut his eyes and swallowed his emotions. Morning would have to wait. Soon they stood in front of the door.
Open.
Lotus shoved the sun key into the keyhole and twisted it hard. But
Why?
What happened?
it doesn't work?
Nothing. Nothing happened. I didn't feel it unlock.
Oh no. Is it the wrong key?
I don't know. Maybe.
Lotus sighed, defeated, and leaned against the doorknob. She felt it twist. And it opened too? What? A small gap appeared between the door and the frame.
It's open.
Freaking what?
What the hell is this?
Why is nothing else? Why is nothing locked anymore?
You mean the door was already unlocked?
Why?
Then how would I know that? Whatever, let's just go.
No complaints! Lotus took a deep breath and slowly opened the door the rest of the way. They stepped inside. In front of them was another hallway. It stretched out towards the bow of the ship. They began to run. Faster and faster they ran, trying desperately to reach the end of the hallway. A few seconds later, they were there. In front of them stood a massive metal door. They were all breathing heavily as Junpei spoke.
What the hell is this door? I can't see anything that looks like a doorknob or switch or lever or card reader or anything. How the fuck are we supposed to open this?
We don't have a choice. We're gonna have to go back.
No, I'm not going back there. There is a murderer back there.
That's a fair point. There was more stark terror in Lotus's voice than authority. She was almost
I
begging.
don't see any other doors.
As he spoke, Seven stepped toward the door in front of them, as if to illustrate that it was the only door. Yeah.
No way.
Okay, you see, in a lot of situations, doors that are locked being open is a good thing. In this particular instance, it is filling me with complete and utter terror.
It opened by itself.
Why is they doing this thing?
It's an automatic door?
Look, guys, I've got a really bad feeling about all this.
As you should.
The other doors were already unlocked, and this one's automatic. We haven't seen anything like this before.
Bad feeling.
Okay, yeah, no. Laughing time is bad, no. How could their situation possibly get worse? 3 people were already... Well, easily you could also be killed. That's a thing that could happen.
We've hit bottom. This can't get any worse.
Yes, it can.
Shit!
Hey, Junpei!
He stepped through the door.
I can't take this anymore. No one can.
And whatever hope Junpei had managed to summon disappeared.
No. It's a lie. It's gotta be. This can't be real. No. It's impossible. If it's a dream, just wake up already. Someone please tell me it's all just a joke. I'm imagining things. Yep, that's it. This is all obviously a lie.
What does he see?
It's a big, elaborate trick. An illusion or something. Or a dream. It's made up.
It wasn't real, right? June. No, the code name meant nothing now. Connie. Okay, well, that's really bad, and also, raises some more questions. Junpei cried out and leapt through the door. He flew to her sight, his heart like a stone in his chest.
Connie, hang on.
Junpei swept her up and shook her by the shoulder. She moaned and her eyes fluttered open, but only barely.
Connie.
Jumpy?
Her face was pale and her lips were dry and cracked. Her eyes were blank and cloudy. They stared straight at Junpei, but saw nothing. Junpei put his hand against the small of her back to hold her up. It felt warm and wet. He lifted his hand up. It was covered in blood.
Oh, man. Connie, there's so much blood. What the hell happened to you? How did this happen?
It was all he could do not to break into tears.
I'm sorry.
Her voice was thin, a minuscule thread that was the only thing keeping her with him.
I might not make it.
No way I am going to let you die. I am going to save you, I promise.
I don't know if that's realistic.
Thank you, Jumpy. Thank you so much for everything. I was really happy to see you again, Jumpy. Really happy.
Don't give me that I was crap. You're gonna see me again lots more times. You just gotta hang on, all right, Connie? You. Ow, what can I do? Damn it!
He looked up from Connie, desperate for something, anything.
What's that?
A submarine? Then he saw it. A small submarine.
Submarine? What on earth is a submarine doing here?
I don't know. No, that didn't matter. Nothing mattered except saving Connie. That was the only thing he wanted.
That's it.
Junpei turned his head back to look down at her.
Hang on, all right? There's a submarine over there. I'm gonna go see if it works.
Honestly, factually, I cannot even begin to stress who the hell did this? I feel like we're just kind of glancing over that because of the traumatic experiences going on right now, but if everyone was attacked, then who the hell... Does that mean Zero isn't one of us? What?
No, don't go. Please, don't go. Please, just stay with me, okay? I want to be close to you, Jumpy. When
Connie.
Jumpy, did you know you meant a lot to me when we were kids? I've liked you for a long time, Junpei. A really long time.
Junpei's vision had gone blurry. It took a moment to realize his eyes were filled with tears. He could feel a piercing point of heat deep in his heart like a white-hot flame.
Jumpy, do you remember how we hung out a lot when we were kids? We went to the pool and to the fair. Do you remember playing snowball at the school? They're all memories I'll never forget. All of those moments are treasures to me.
Okay.
I also wanted to go to a lot of other places with you. A lot more. But that won't happen now.
No. I mean, yes. Yes, it will happen. We'll go all sorts of places, Connie. You hear me? I promise. We'll go wherever you want.
Really?
Yeah, really. I swear.
That makes me happy. Really happy.
She said it to herself over and over, a weak smile creasing her tired face.
Jumpy, I feel sleepy.
No, Connie, don't fall asleep.
Thank you, Jumpy. Thank you so much.
Her eyes were slowly closing. Junpei screamed even as he felt his throat go hoarse.
Connie! Connie! Connie!
Time passed. Junpei wept, curled around Connie's body. He cried and cried until he had no tears left. When the last tear fell, Junpei was no more. His body remained, but only as an empty shell. Somewhere he heard a bell ring. It was the clock at the central staircase. It rang 5 times, then faded.
5 o'clock.
Quietly, gently, softly, he set Connie down on the floor. Slowly, Junpei stood. Only then did he realize that Seven and Lotus had not followed him. I kept wanting to say that, but I didn't want to interrupt things. Oh, God, that was... Okay. Where had they gone? Slowly, he looked around the room. There was nothing. No sign they had ever been there. It felt as though every part of Junpei's body was made of lead. Slowly, he made his way to the door he'd come through. As he approached it, it opened, sliding apart with a sound like a grinding stone. Junpei passed through the gate into the hallway. Oh, okay! How the hell did that happen? His heart rattled in his chest, an empty, lifeless thing. It had been so utterly broken that there was nothing left to feel. When he saw their bodies, he simply stared. It was a lake, a sea of blood. 2 bodies lay in it. There was no need to check. There was no breath left in them. His eyes lit on Lotus's wrist. Her bracelet. It was gone. He stared. It meant nothing to him. He didn't care anymore. He couldn't care anymore. Junpei's body felt numb. A part of him knew the lump of lead in his chest had once been a heart. He couldn't quite remember what it had been for. Tears poured from his eyes in great streams. He wasn't sure why. He gave up trying to make them stop. He turned around, the door opened again, and slowly, numbly, he walked through. He kept walking. Why stop? An object set in motion. Simple inertia carried him forward. Eventually, he found himself in front of the submarine. His arm reached for the hatch. Of course. And then he was floating in water. His eyes stared down into it. He couldn't see the bottom. His back was hot. Dimly, he felt the blade of a knife in it. Who? One dead body lay behind door number 5. The body of the 9th man. Another lay in the shower room. The body of Snake. At the central staircase were 3 more. Ace, Santa, and Clover. Just outside the door were 2 corpses. Those of Seven and Lotus. And in this very room lay the body that had once been Canny. And now Junpei would join them. Who then had killed them all? Who? The way... Okay, I need to think. The way that this went down... The fact that it pointed out Lotus's bracelet, but it didn't point out, like, Seven's or anything, implies that this is, like, the last one. And considering a knife is involved, I think whoever did this is the same person who did the ending and the last one when Lotus got stabbed. Junpei let out one last breath. Faintly, he felt the bubbles creep up the side of his face. His consciousness faded quickly, dissolving away into the cold, gentle lapping of the water. I'm getting credits? What? What? Why am I getting credits? No way in any shape, way, or hell is this an end. No! Is this somehow considered not a bad end? Okay, well, this game is not done yet. Hell no. Smash cut to progress. Let's go. Obviously not. We'll all die by a yellow submarine achievement. What is with these things? Okay, fine. Yeah, I guess that's technically an ending now, isn't it? Not satisfied. Not even remotely. Okay, so I've been thinking about this over a decent amount of time, all right? So I think I know how to get these other endings. I think. If I had to guess. You just need to go down the paths that all line up. You might think that I did that before, but I don't think that I did. Because I think if I go down this path, and then that, and then this, and then once I get here, something different will happen. I believe that to be the case. I do not know, but it's what I'm gonna go with. As is, it seems like I've done... Unless there's an escape room in here, I think I've done all of the puzzles that there are. All that's left is to figure out what the hell... There's gotta be something vaguely resembling a good ending by the end of all of this. And I'm gonna friggin' find it. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna start over again. And I'm going to go through this path. We're going to go right down the middle. Okay? It seems like the right call. And then, after we see whatever that is, we'll do whatever that is, and we'll see what ending is ultimately the best. I don't... Like, if all of the... Look, if this is the kind of game where everybody dies the end no matter what you do, then so be it. But I want some goddamn answers, okay? Bare minimum, that's what you're giving me. Alright, I will see you guys towards this. As a bit of a refresher, though. Okay, so we'll be going through the 5-door, I believe. Yes. Which means the first-class cabin and the casino. So that would be the path I went the first time. Right. Oh, and you know what? That would explain why, because I didn't go down this path, and then, because on my first playthrough I went through that, and then that, but I didn't go through this, which is why when I did end up down here, I didn't get this. That makes sense. Okay, so then we'll go through that, and that would then mean we'll then be going through the laboratory, the engine room, the cargo room, all that business. And we'll be back over here, and we'll see what happens, I guess. I guess I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so howdy hey, I'm back. So I'm currently in the laboratory. I went through the first class cabin, you know, with the piano, with Seven and Snake. And then I went to the casino, did the whole Baccarat thing again, all that business. And as I was going, I was just kind of going through the laboratory again. And I also noticed that as I've been going through these things, the X out thingies have started being open, which I think is a good thing. I think that means I'm on the right path. And as a part of that, so you remember that scene where you have Lotus, you know, hack into the thingamadoo, and you know, and he stares at very clearly not her hands and stuff. So I was going through that scene again, and I noticed that things seemed different than they were before. Like, Lotus started saying things I do not remember her saying the last time we did this. So I think that might be because I went through the correct path. That means new stuff opens up or something? I'm not 100% sure, but this seemed, it seemed brand new to me, so I thought I should definitely show it to you guys too, assuming that it happens again. Or we'll find out soon enough, I guess. Not too bright. What are you saying to say? Like the cable, the plug. You still don't get it? Oh, do I not? Oh, oopsie. I didn't have it equipped. Get off my back. All right. Here we go. So I actually redid all of the puzzles again in the laboratory. Luckily, the puzzles in this game aren't nearly as bad when you know the answers ahead of time. Anyway, turn on the thingamadoo. Okay.
Oh, that worked.
All right, now let's get through this whole thing. And some of it starts out normal, like the way that we did before, but there's new stuff. There definitely is. With a soft hum, it turned on. Streams of letters that made no sense to Junpei began to scroll across the screen. He had hoped it would turn on, but he hadn't expected this.
It's running on its own?
It certainly looks like it.
Isn't that kinda weird?
What?
Well, it's not connected to the main computer, right? There's just this keyboard and monitor. The only cable connected to this thing is the power cable we just plugged in.
And then we talk about a wireless display.
So, why is it working?
Maybe it's a wireless display.
Because she's good with computers. Clearly, this was a reasonable explanation to Lotus.
A wireless display?
The only way to go.
Yes, it connects to your computer wirelessly. Hence the name.
Godoy.
Have you been living in a cave, Junpei?
He most certainly had not, but it still offended him all the same.
Normal?
Yes, at least where I worked.
Oh.
Oh, it stopped.
Pass with a colon.
Looks like we need to enter a password.
Again? There must be a hint around here somewhere.
Could you go take a look?
Yeah, I'm on it. What are you going to do?
She's gonna do her funky, hacky, lady typing thing.
I'll see if I can do something about this on my own.
Because she's got that style.
On your own?
Yep, on my own.
Lotus?
Lotus pulled up the nearest chair, dropped herself down, and started doing her thing. You know how it be. For a second, she stared at the screen. She needed her hands, knuckles popping, and twisted her back left and right. Boom, here we go.
Let's kick some ass.
Lotus smiled to herself, then rubbed her hands together in anticipation. And she starts typing. That's not what he's staring at. At an incredible speed, the click-clack of the keys together like machine gun fire.
Wait, what?
Junpei was, for once, at a loss for
Didn't
words.
expect that, did you?
Of course I didn't. You're typing so fast. I can't even see your fingers.
It is pretty impressive.
What kind of job do you have? What are you?
I'm unemployed at the moment. I used to work for a cybersecurity firm, but I quit.
Like, is this something that we had seen before?
Why?
Lotus blinked.
Huh? Oh, it was just something.
I don't remember her ever saying that. She stopped typing for a moment and her face fell. This was not an avenue of questioning to be pursued, Junpei realized and quickly shut his mouth. Lotus's fingers began to move again, and in a few seconds she was back up to speed. As she typed, more letters and symbols that meant nothing to Junpei began to pour across the screen.
Oh, what are you doing now?
I'm going to try and brute force it.
Yeah, no, this is definitely new to me.
Brute what?
He's not calling her an old lady or nothing.
A brute force attack is... Well, the short version is that I just attack the thing head on. The long version?
I mean, that's how I've solved several puzzles, so I respect it. Without looking up or slowing down, she began to
A
explain.
brute force attack is one of the simplest ways to break a cipher. It checks every possible combination until it finds the right one. For a complex cipher, it can take a very long time.
Yeah, because numbers kind of go on for a
I'm
while.
writing a program that would run an attack like that on its own. It's not the most elegant solution, certainly. But given the circumstances, there isn't much else I can do.
Even though she talked, her fingers never slowed down or missed a key. Junpei couldn't help but feel a little odd.
But back to what we were talking about earlier.
What were we talking about?
The wireless display? It's kind of strange if you think about it, isn't it? How do I put it?
How do you put it?
Well, let's say you write a program that calculates an addition problem for you, all right?
Okay, my pea brain can comprehend this.
So you enter 1 plus 1.
That means 2.
The screen will show you 2.
Yeah.
See? Isn't that strange?
No? Not really.
No, I don't know how that's
Oh,
strange.
come on now. Of course a caveman like you would think it was strange. You said so just a minute ago. You're just not getting it, are you?
Apparently not, and I'm apologizing.
Who calculated 1 plus 1?
The computer.
The main computer, right? You said it connected to the monitor wirelessly.
Yeah, but someone who grew up in a cave wouldn't know that, right?
Okay.
They'd probably think that this thing here, the monitor, is doing the calculating.
Okay, yeah. Oh. Okay, what you're saying is you're talking about dumb people who think that the monitor is the computer and not the tower.
And once they've decided that, they'll start examining this monitor. They might poke the screen or something.
That's true. They would.
Ah, I see the color changes when I press it here.
On some monitors that do be like that.
Then they might investigate the hardware on the inside. Oh, I see. So this wire supplies the power.
It do.
Eventually, they might even cut the wires. Ah, yes. Just as I expected. When this wire is cut, no results appear. Therefore, it must be this device which does the calculations.
Oh.
But the truth is that, just like you said, the computer is doing the calculating.
Yeah.
But these cave people wouldn't know that, because they have no idea that the monitor and the computer are connected wirelessly.
I mean, I've seen a caveman be friends with a robot once, so it's not impossible. We'll just continue to type. Junpei scratched his head.
So, what are you trying to say?
Nothing, really.
Oh, delightful.
It's just, I thought maybe, what if the relationship between human beings and our brains is like that?
Huh?
Well, let's say you stick a bunch of electrodes into parts of the brain. A
Okay.
scientist examining the signals they send out might say, interesting. So stimulating this part of the brain causes the person to see colors. That must mean this neuron cluster controls that function.
Okay, I think I get where you're going with this.
Okay, let's see what happens when I cut out this part. Ah, just what I thought. Cutting off this part causes that function to cease.
To be fair, she's not wrong. That is what a lot of science did for a good while.
Therefore, human thought processes must occur in the human brain. See? Doesn't it sound the same?
It does.
Maybe the brain is just an output device, like this monitor.
I feel like this is just more of a thing about the telepathy, because that seems to be a recurring thing with a lot of this stuff.
Maybe our thought processes actually occur somewhere else, in a main body. We just don't know it. We never even think about it. Just like those cave people wouldn't know about wireless communications.
That's some existential stuff right there.
We can't imagine that there's some unknown medium that transfers information into our brains, where we experience that information as thoughts.
Y'all getting deep on me, game. Junpei didn't say anything. Not so much because he had no retort. No, her argument just seemed silly, and he was a little surprised to be hearing something like it from someone like her. Unless she's gonna pull out a psych.
Human thought action That's just crazy talk.
Did Lotus really think that, he wondered? It was a little creepy, Junpei thought. It sounded altogether too much like a bizarre cultish religion. I mean, you're not
Maybe
wrong,
it's the cause
wrong.
of Seven's amnesia.
Oblivious to Junpei's increasing discomfort, Lotus continued.
Memory is actually stored somewhere else, in some sort of main body somewhere. Maybe he hasn't forgotten anything at all. He's just having a difficult time accessing his memories because the monitor, his brain, has been damaged.
I mean, in a science fiction-y sort of way, what you're saying makes sense.
I suppose that would explain aphasia and blindsight, too. Perhaps they actually can speak or see. The monitor just isn't functioning properly. I guess people with prosopagnosia could be suffering from the same thing.
I don't think I'm familiar with what that is.
Wait a minute. What?
He knew what aphasia was from watching medical dramas on TV, and Blindside was easy enough to guess, but he never heard of the word that before.
What? You've never heard of prosopagnosia?
Apparently not. Yeah, no, Junpei has it. I have, though. I'm smart. Hi. Lotus spun around in her chair to look at him. Junpei just shrugged and shook his head.
No. What is it?
Well, put simply, it means a condition where the mind can't distinguish between human faces.
Is that a thing?
In other words, my face would look the same as Clover's or even yours. So they can't remember faces, which is how most people recognize each other.
Huh.
That means that people with prosopagnosia have trouble recognizing even people they're close to. Usually they can make do by associating people with other things. Their voices, their clothes, their hair.
I mean, I guess I could see how that might be a thing. You know what? Just for the sake of my curiosity, I mean, I don't want to say that that's not a real thing because it very easily could be, but I've never heard of it be a thing before. So hang on. Let's see. Prosopagnosia, also known as face blindness. Oh, well, damn, it really is. It's a legit, a real thing. Huh. Well, how about that? Huh. Learn something new. Neat.
Does that mean other people's faces look like blanks?
No, I don't think so.
From the display picture that they had on the internet, it just kind of looks like everyone just kind of looks like the same generic person.
Well, you've seen monkeys, like in a zoo, right?
I have.
To you and me, all the monkey faces look the same.
Well, unless you really get to know all of the animals on an individual basis.
Even though they've obviously got faces. It's almost impossible for a human to distinguish between them.
Almost.
The zoo staff that works with them would learn to identify different monkeys eventually. But you or I couldn't, unless one had a scar or something else to set it apart.
That makes sense.
Well, that's how people would be to someone with prosopagnosia.
Huh.
Prosopagnosia. Huh. I didn't even know that kind of thing existed.
Yeah, I had no idea. What I want to know is what exactly caused... What about going down this path unlocked this new info? I'm kind of confused as to what led to us talking about this. Like, why wasn't the last time I did this something that happened? Like, the last time I had this scene, why didn't this information play? What was so different? Anyway, Junpei did his best to act as though the entire lecture hadn't gone entirely over his head.
What were we talking about?
The idea that your brain is just an output device, like a monitor.
Are you serious about that stuff?
Not really. I was just kidding for about half of it.
Yeah, okay.
What about the other half?
Well, I guess I was just adulting.
Adulting?
Not funny.
She seems to think it is. Lotus's smile had something rather masochistic to
It's
it.
nothing more than a story I made up out of boredom. Don't take it seriously.
Uh-huh. I'm sure I'm going to have to end up taking it very seriously because nothing has ever ended up being completely pointless in this
It
game.
was the first thing that came to mind, and I just talked about it to kill time. But looks like I don't need to talk anymore.
Why?
I don't have to kill time any longer.
As she spoke, Lotus raised her right arm high and brought it down on the enter key.
Oh, then you finished that brute whatever thing?
Really? You have a hard time with the term brute force?
I certainly did. And let's see what we got.
You've never used that line of words before? That's just weird to me. Chunks of text flickered on and off in quick succession, and then a line of numbers appeared, blinked, and disappeared. So yeah, this time he didn't call her old and get her cranky and make her leave, and instead we had a talk. Yo, whoa, hold up. That just triggered a little thingamadoo inside my brainscape. Hang on. Hang on. In the was it the cargo room, not the warehouse, but I think I know how this information relates to stuff. And I think I know how this information is going to help us later. Ooh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, maybe you guys have caught on already. But I'm sure I'm probably gonna actually have to go there and see it for myself. But I'm gonna be back into the cargo place anyway, so it'll be fine. Oh God, I'm gonna have to do the cargo stuff. Well, it's okay. I already have all the I have all the answers taken care of. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Piece of cake.
Pizza cake. Lotus would clearly have patted herself on the back if it would not have made her look entirely ridiculous. After a few seconds, the acceptance appeared to be replaced with this. 9 squares. Okay, I think we're back in the position of the stuff that I've already done. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to go ahead and continue on. Maybe this new information is what'll make those things go. That'd make sense. I guess we'll see. If anything else new shows up, you guys will know about it. I'll be right back.
The screen changed again. What the hell is that?
I wanted to ask you something.
Oh! Hang on. We might be back already. The last time we did this, she called us over, and she was like, never mind, and then just left. Is she actually going to talk this time?
Hmm?
What up?
Junpei, you went into door 5 with my brother, right?
Oh, yes, as a matter of fact, I did in this timeline. Yes, yes.
Did you hear him say, like, anything weird?
Weird?
Huh?
Why is she asking me this? Junpei wondered. The more I thought about it, however, the more it made sense. Snake had been gone for a long time. Clover was quite attached to her brother. Of course, she would have been worried about him.
Let me think.
He thought back to when he'd gone through door 5, hoping he might remember something. Even a small something that would help her. However...
Sorry, Clover. I can't really think of anything.
I mean, nothing weird.
I mean, he did mention that his hearing exceeds that of a regular person, or something like that, but that's about it.
Okay.
Clover's words were barely audible. She nodded vaguely to Junpei and turned to walk away.
Hey, wait a minute. Look, I don't know if I should ask you things, but if you don't mind, I was hoping you could tell me if... is Snake, I mean, was he born...
You're talking about his eyes?
I could be talking about a lot of things, but let's go with that.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't born blind. When he was a kid, he got in an accident.
I'm sorry to hear that.
A really bad car accident.
I don't know how you could get in a car wreck. I mean, I guess it could lacerate your eyes. I guess that's possible. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could injure an eyeball, really.
He couldn't see after that. And his arm.
His arm?
His arm?
Yeah. My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm.
In what way?
It's fake. It's not a real arm.
Really?
The accident hurt him really bad. To save him, they had to cut off his arm.
Yo! No! Oh, God, dudes and dudettes of the audience at home, hello. Hang on. When we go to inspect Snake's body through door 3, and it explodes, do you remember? Both times we did it, it always made like a special point to go like, oh, and like, didn't it say his left arm? Like his left arm was all that you could see the bone. The bone was sticking out, then the umla or whatever. Right? Yo! Then that wasn't him! Unless I'm mistaken and it was his right arm they're talking about, but the fact that it was so needlessly specific as this and the left arm they're talking about this now, yeah! That's interesting. So then one of my original theories might actually be holding up. That's not, because it kept talking about, oh, we can't even tell who it is, we just identified him through this clothing. Interesting. Snake might not be dead. Okay.
Oh.
Also, I'm really sorry they had to cut off his arm. That's messed. That's messed as hell.
Is that all you wanted to ask me?
Talking about her brother had clearly taken a great deal out of Clover. Junpei nodded.
Look, I'm sorry for making you talk about all that painful stuff.
It's not that.
Clover only shook her head and walked off down the stairs. Interesting. Oh! Oh! And the things went ding-a-ling-ding-ding! Hey! Very nice. Very nice. Okay. That makes sense to me. All right, all right. Then I just gotta keep on going the way that I'm going. And as long as I get all of the, if I get all of the keys, then I unlock the thing and it lets me through. That makes sense. Okay, cool. I'll just finish things up here. And again, if something new pops up, you guys will be the first to know. No probs.
You know, speaking of experiments. There was this experiment some scientists did with rats.
This looks new to me.
First,
It is.
They took a squarish C-shaped tank and filled it with enough water that the rats could drown in it.
Okay.
The tank has 2 exits.
Anyone else think it's weird how many anecdotes the cast for this game has about weird esoteric scientific experiments that have taken place? Like a few from a couple maybe, but it seems like everyone's got at least 3 of these.
Just to make it easy, we'll call one A and the other B.
Okay.
Exit A is pitch black, so dark even a rat can't see anything. But exit B is electrified, which means the rat can't leave through it. So, what would a rat do if it was put in this situation? Which exit would the rat choose?
There was a moment of silence after Santa posed the question, and then Ace responded.
B, of course. The rat has no way of knowing that exit B is electrified.
Exactly. The rat goes to exit B.
Right.
Of course, like I said, it's electrified.
Which is obviously a massive problem.
Which means the rat can't get out that way. So, after a lot of trial and error, the rat finally finds exit A.
I can't say that's very interesting or relevant. It's simply the story of a laboratory experiment.
I'm sure there's more to it.
You're right. It isn't very interesting. Yet. See, these scientists repeated this experiment over and over, using hundreds of different rats over several generations. This produced some surprising results. With each generation, the rats took less time to find the correct exit.
So it's like the memory was coded into them? Is that what you're kind of trying to figure out here?
Eventually, a rat was put in the tank who instantly chose exit A without even attempting to go to exit B. But that wasn't the most impressive part.
Then what
The
was?
same experiment was conducted in another laboratory, far from the original one, with the same results.
It's all these stories connect to each other in one way or another, it seems.
No, on second thought, the results weren't really the same. The rats in this second experiment began the trials with significantly faster times than the first rats in the initial one. These rats weren't related to the others and had never even come in contact with them. And yet, they all easily found their way to exit A as though they already knew. What did it mean?
Are you suggesting something like telepathy?
It always comes back to telepathy,
They were passing information to one another through some undetectable medium?
as rats are known to do. Ace looked skeptical. Santa snorted at him.
How the hell would I know? I'm not any kind of scientist. I don't know what made him do that.
Then why'd you bring any of this up?
But I do know that story's true. And if you've got another explanation, I'd sure love to hear it.
So basically, we were just talking about science experiments, and you're like, hey, I know about a science experiment that happened once. You want to hear me talk about it? And then you just did.
Come on, let's get going. There's still a lot here we haven't checked out.
All right,
And
then.
we gotta get the hell out of here before June passes out.
All right, without waiting for a response, he turned around and started walking. Junpei, however, wasn't quite ready to leave the topic alone.
Hey, wait. There's something I want to ask you.
What?
Santa stopped and turned around.
Why did they use that tank for the experiment?
Huh?
Well, I mean, it seems like you could conduct the same experiment without the water. They could have just used a dry box, you know? If they needed to motivate the rats to escape, they could have, I don't know, put some bait by exit B or something. I mean, do they really have to make it so the rats can drown?
Santa gave him a grim bark of a laugh.
You know, the word emergency comes from the same root as the word emerge.
Indeed it does. What does that have to do with anything?
You ever think about that?
No.
Huh? Well, an emergency is something urgent, often something dangerous.
Generally.
And to emerge means to sort of come out, or appear, or rise out of something else. So what's going to emerge in an emergency? Inspiration.
What?
Inspiration?
Yeah. Think about it. When the chips are down, either you crack or your mind focuses and pulls up what you need.
I mean, okay, sure,
So
yeah.
in an emergency, your real potential emerges. Is that what you're saying?
Either that or you shut down. One or the other.
Yeah. That's why the rats had to drown. They had to be in danger. There had to be an emergency for inspiration to emerge.
Well, that seems a little odd to me, but I guess I understand what you're talking about.
Oh.
Junpei suddenly felt cold. The back of his head was aching and his stomach felt strange. Alright, so... Oh, yep, and that seemed to be good. Alright. And I already know ahead of time what the new line of talking this is going to be about. I know exactly what it is going to be. I wonder if you guys have figured it out too. You might have. I'll see you there.
I finally have all 9 picture cards.
I remember thinking this moment was weird, but we've got new information that can explain it, I dare say.
I just need to insert these cards into the slots at the front of each box.
Junpei stared at the cards in his hands. Ace peered over his shoulder at them.
You know which card goes in which box, yes?
Indeed I do. But do you?
Yeah, of course I do. It's really obvious. You just match our numbers to the numbers, then you pop the corresponding card in the right box. So for instance, the card with the picture of Ace on it goes into box 1. The card with the picture of Snake on it goes into box 2, and so on.
Oh, I see.
You seemed confused and bewildered by this.
Huh? What is it?
Junpei thought he might have imagined it, but he could have sworn Ace stiffened. Just then, Junpei heard a noise. He spun around just in time to see June collapse in front of the fence.
Hey.
Oh, that's not something that should be happening!
June, are you okay?
She did not respond. Oh, that's bad. Junpei spun around back to face Ace.
I'm sorry, I gotta go check on her. You finished the box thing, alright?
Oh, but can he?
Just put the cards in the boxes. I'm counting on you.
He shoved the cards into Ace's hands and ran off toward June.
Are you alright?
I think that's...
What happened?
I think that's why we learned about the not be able to understand face syndrome thingy. Sorry, I already forgot the name. But, you know the thing, the condition. I think he's got it. Junpei called out to her as soon as he ran.
Can you stand?
As he arrived, June was climbing to her feet with Santa's help.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm fine.
Or are you?
I just tripped.
Don't give me that. Now is not the time.
But it's true. I tripped over a box.
Or did you?
Just let me see for a sec.
When I touch your dang forehead again is what I'm gonna do.
You're still warm.
That was an interesting noise you just made. Her temperature was much the same as it had been the last time he checked. She wasn't hot like she'd been before, but she was still warm. Her fever wasn't completely gone.
I saw her fall. I think she really did just trip on something, you know?
Okay. Junpei would have been more willing to agree if June hadn't needed quite so much help standing up.
Still, to fall down like that? I think she's probably still a little messed up.
June was doing her best to busy herself brushing dust off her dress. Her smile looked a little embarrassed and her face was a bit flushed, but she did look a great deal better than she had. Still.
All right, well, let's just get out of here as fast as we can so we can get you to a hospital.
Oh, I don't think it's anything that serious. I just need a little medicine and some sleep, and I'll be fine.
Makes sense. I imagine a lot of us would be pretty tired about this point.
Medicine, huh?
Something about medicine make you think of another interesting story to talk about?
If we could get in touch with anyone outside, I'll bet Ace could swing that for you easy.
Eh?
Ace? Why?
Huh? Don't you know? He's the president of a pharmaceutical company.
He is?
Cradle Pharmaceuticals is the name, I think.
Excuse me?
Their flagship product is an anesthetic drug called Soparil.
Soparil. Soparil. I've heard of that before somewhere.
Wait, no, hang on. Ace owns the company that was responsible for kidnapping children? Huh? Junpei couldn't shake the feeling that he'd heard about Soparil before. Santa continued.
Soparil. It's an anesthetic that's a gas at room temperature. A lot like how nitrous oxide is.
I see.
It takes only a few seconds to spread, and even a small amount is very effective.
I mean, am I misreading that, or is that a massive revelation?
A bunch of countries quickly accepted it for widespread use within their police and military forces. It was an effective crowd suppressant and room clearer. It was practical, ethical, and the humane nature of it made it the ideal drug. It's been around for about 6 years. They developed it from the extracts of several different roots.
I see. You seem to know a lot about it.
It became popular almost as soon as it was made public, with many governments placing large orders. Demand for Soparil skyrocketed. And of course, that meant Cradle Pharmaceuticals stock did too.
Uh-huh.
Why do you know all of this?
I'm surprised you even thought to ask. Santa's information was interesting, but Junpei couldn't help but feel a little suspicious. Santa's reply was blunt and simple.
I heard it from the old man himself.
From Ace? When?
By the number 4 door at the central stairway, when we were searching the second-class room. Remember how Snake, Seven, and you went to door 5? It was back then. I asked him what he did for a living, and he said he ran his own company. After that, we just started talking, and I guess it just came up, you know?
I mean, I guess that's fair.
Huh.
Are you worried about something?
No, nothing.
I mean, hang on. In this line, do we have any reason to think that? The laboratory, the casino. No? I didn't, yeah, no. The operating room and the like would have definitely, yeah, we don't have any, yeah, and the other one would have been the torture room where we learned all that. Yeah, no. All right, he wouldn't have any way of, oh, man, okay. As he spoke, Junpei looked over toward Ace. Having trouble? He seemed to be having difficulty with the 9 boxes.
What the hell is he doing?
He turned back to June and Santa.
June, don't push yourself, all right?
Yes.
Santa, could you take care of her? I'll go check on Ace. Looks like he's having trouble.
Sure.
He gave them both a short nod, then turned and headed toward Ace.
What are you doing?
Ace's back was to him as Junpei approached. The older man turned around to look at him. His face was pale and covered in sweat.
What happened?
Nothing. My vision has gotten rather blurry, I think, because of fatigue. I can't see very well at the moment.
What can't you see well?
These pictures.
Ace held the cards out to Junpei, splayed out in the shape of a fan.
I don't care to admit it, but I may be developing presbyopia. Growing old is a difficult thing.
He made the best attempt he could at a self-deprecating smile, but his face was flushed and his lips were pale and drawn.
At any rate, I'll leave the rest to you. I'm feeling awfully tired, so if you don't mind, I'd like to rest for a bit.
I bet you would. He shoved the cards into Junpei's hands and walked quickly away. The Junpei of this weird going-abouts of the situation may not know things, but I do, and I have questions for you.
How could simply looking at cards have tired him out?
Junpei looked down at the cards in his hands. All the pictures were quite clear and each person easily recognizable. Nobody even has the same hair color. Oh, I guess Junpei and June do. But still, was Ace's vision truly so bad?
It wasn't. What had made him so uncomfortable?
That was when Junpei remembered what he'd heard from Lotus much earlier. Ha 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 ha!
Prosopagnosia.
Yeah, here it is.
Well, put simply, it means a condition where the mind can't distinguish between human faces. In other words, my face would look the same as Clover's or even yours. So they can't remember faces, which is how most people recognize each other.
I see.
That means that people with prosopagnosia have trouble recognizing even people they're close to.
Maybe he's got prosopagnosia?
We should talk to him about this. Junpei took another look at Ace. He sat at the base of the stairs looking quite depressed.
Well, he looks depressed enough to have it.
If he really did have prosopagnosia, there was no doubt it was a depressing and painful experience. Still, Junpei didn't feel like patting him on the shoulder and telling him everything would be alright would help that much. Still, Junpei felt perhaps it was best he kept Ace's condition to himself, at least for the time being. Doing his best to clear his mind for the task at hand, he turned back toward the boxes.
Time to solve the 9 boxes puzzle.
Now, as fascinating as this all was, and how excited I was about the fact that I figured that out, and that those, you know, that would be connected to the weirdness of this scene, what I don't know is how that's relevant to literally anything. The information about him being the president of Cradle Pharmaceuticals, however, that was a piece of information I didn't have before that I found incredibly interesting. 9 cards with pictures and 9 boxes. So back to...
Ace's card is in box 1. Snake's is in number 2.
I'm just making sure that there's nothing else new here.
I just need to do the same for the rest. And finally, the 9th man's card into box 9.
That would explain why it was such a simple thing in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Oh, they opened.
He peered inside and got my pins. These godforsaken pins. I hate them so much. They look a little like sewing pins, but much thicker. Junpei collected them all quickly and shoved them into his pocket. And there you go. We good? We're good. All right. It's unlocked. Does that mean I can just jump ahead? Because I'd actually been going... I've been going this entire time. But no, you know what? It's unlocked. It's unlocked. We're gonna go. We're gonna do this. Something's gonna happen. Okay. All that needs to be remembered that we didn't bear witness to immediately is the fact that...
Look, it's...
this scene right here is when they find the double 9 doors. Right. And there was a coffin. And there was a knocking. Right. Gotta remember all this stuff, because it's probably going to be important. Okay, okay. All right, let's go.
7 and Lotus.
We've got a problem.
Clover is gone.
What? What do you mean, gone?
She flew the coop.
When?
Why?
You two went into door 1 with Clover, didn't you?
Yeah, we went through the door together.
Again, the little thingy is unlocked. That means I did a good, I think.
But Clover barely spoke to us.
She just did her own thing the whole time.
There were 4 rooms on the other side of door 1.
She wouldn't let us into the 4th room.
I'm not on this screen.
She just said, I'll take care of this one.
I'm glad that I remembered.
And shut the door.
She must have blocked it with something on the other side.
Just waiting for something new.
We waited for a while, but Clover didn't come out.
We called for her, but she didn't answer.
So I kicked down the door and we went into the room.
But
It was empty.
Clover wasn't there.
Uh-huh.
There was a door on the other wall.
And it was open.
We figure she opened the door and left by herself.
Okay.
We ran after her, of course, but
Well, obviously we didn't find her. We figured that much out.
Yeah, I did.
Clover's gone.
Gotta find her. Junpei thought
When
for a
did this
moment.
happen?
We got here just before you.
You certainly have excellent timing.
Which means we gotta look
So you
around.
haven't searched anywhere other than near the staircase?
No, we haven't.
Finally, Ace spoke. His voice had an edge of resolve and
Very
concern.
well then. We'd best separate and look for Clover. We haven't much time left. Let's begin.
Yeah.
There were quick nods all around, and the 6 remaining players spread out. Okay. Everything so far has been exactly the same. Looking around, the large hospital room together as quickly as they could. They searched around and under the beds and in the corners.
She's not here.
No, she isn't.
All right, just in case, we should go take a look in the shower room.
Shower room?
Wait, the shower room?
That's where her brother is. She might have gone to see him.
Okay, that's new. June bit her lip. She knew, as Junpei did, that there was only one thing to see in the shower room, and it was not pleasant.
We might as well check, right? Let's go.
Yeah, we definitely didn't check that last time. We just immediately dipped out. There was a screwdriver stuck between the door and the frame.
We can still get in.
Thank you,
We should go
7.
later.
Junpei and June slipped through the door, moved down the hallway, and stepped into the shower room.